So for this next video, we are going to talk about speed, power, and agility for tennis and pickleball. All right, so tennis and pickleball definitely require a decent amount of speed and agility in order to quickly transition between positions, right? You want to be able to do that efficiently and effectively so that you don't create injury. A lot of our tennis and pickleball players will end up with feet and ankle injuries because they don't necessarily put their bodies under the demands that are necessary as they are doing in the sport in training, right? So what I mean is when they're in the sport, you know, your adrenaline's going, you're trying to keep the ball in play, you're trying to not let down your team member potentially. So when you're quickly trying to push off from your feet and ankles, it's common that we can get some injuries there in various tendons. And then moving up the chain, that can also affect your knees too. If you're not putting your body through those demands, then that can definitely be hard on the knees if you just do that for the first time in gameplay, right? So these are a few of our favorite speed, power, and agility drills that are gonna help prepare you better for tennis and pickleball and keep you in the game longer and injury-free. So the first one that we're gonna talk about is a box jump. So I'm going to show you too how to do this if you don't have a box to use as well. So we'll do a couple progressions and stuff like that. So this is a great way to build power and explosiveness through your legs, which is similar to what you're going to want for our sports, right? So just kind of stand feet shoulder width apart. I think it helps to use your arms for a little bit of momentum doing this as well. Just kind of swing the arms and land with that nice soft knee, right? I see a lot of people do these that kind of will land in like a deep squat and then come up. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's definitely a lot harder physically on your body to do that than it is just keep your hips high. And also you're not necessarily doing that in tennis and pickleball, going down to that deep squat. So I think it transfers better to play if you keep your hips a little bit higher. So you're just here, use those arms, nice soft landing, and nice bent knees, okay? Because that's what you're gonna wanna do in that athletic position when you're playing and you're gonna wanna move side to side and whatnot. So you wanna train your body in that position. So if you don't have a box to use, then what you can do is lose the box, and then you can just do like a broad jump, okay? So that's similar. Instead of going up, you're kind of just going forward. So literally just, you guys have probably all done these in high school where you're just using your arms, propelling forward, and then landing with a nice soft knee, very similar to how we did on the box. So you can do those like just down and back a couple of times, and that's a great way to train your legs for that explosiveness that you're trying to simulate in the sport. The second exercise we're gonna do is a single leg variation of like a jump or a jump down, okay? So bring this back out here. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can do this one as well. So one thing that I want to talk about is just single leg strengthening in general. So this is a huge part of sport that people often leave out. So you want to be able to use one leg to absorb and create force just as well as you are with 2 feet. So what I mean by that is instead of just doing a 2-foot box jump, what you can do is jump with 2 and land with 1. Like that. So that would be more creating force with one leg. Eventually also you can do the full jump all on one side. That's a little bit more advanced. And then if you want to train jumping down, same idea. You can go start with 2 feet, land with 1, or you can just do the whole thing on one side, which is going to be a little bit harder on the knees and ankles, okay? So it's super important to train that single leg so that when you are pushing off or cutting, then your body's ready for that and you're not exposing yourself in sport and leaving yourself open for an injury there. The last thing I want to talk about is just a classic cone drill. So this is a really good one to kind of simulate exactly what you need to do in the sport when you're kind of moving side to side, forward, back. You don't really know what's going to happen when you're playing. So this kind of will get you ready for that too. So you guys have maybe done these if you've played like football or something similar in the past. Obviously, this would be a little bit more larger scale in an ideal situation, but I'm just going to show you the basic component of it. So you don't have to use cones, of course. You can just use any object that you have. And I like this one because it gets a lot of different angles and directions that you're going to want to simulate in the game. So when you're going to start on kind of back right corner. You're gonna sprint forward, then you're gonna side shuffle across, back pedal back, and then once you get to this cone, you're gonna turn and sprint. Okay, so that's kind of getting a forward sprint, lateral shuffle, back pedal, and then kind of a cut, which is what we definitely want to simulate for tennis and pickleball, just in case you need to run and get that ball really quickly, right? So I like this one because it incorporates tons of different directions and everything that you would want to use in the sport, okay? So these are 3 basic things that we like to cover for speed, power, and agility. If you guys found these helpful, please let us know, and then continue on below for our mobility video as well.